So it's been over 3 years since I've deleted my social medias and not found myself wandering mindlessly scrolling through the internet in the vast abyss. And I want to break down a little bit of my experience with this because I've seen a lot of conversation about this. I've seen a lot of detoxes, so you'll see social media detox, you'll see overstimulation detox, these kinds of things. And for me, I can't do that because I don't need to detox from it because I haven't done it in so long. So I kind of want to break down what it's like being so removed from that process and stay to the end because it's not just all pros. There are a few cons that I want to go over here briefly. So let's get into it. So with the first thing, number one, I'm more present. I'm more right here in the moment. I'm not thinking about someone else's life. I'm not thinking about any profiles or any accounts or anything like that. If someone's having a conversation with me, I'm right here with them. I'm listening to what they have to say, I'm taking it in, and I'm actually thinking about the moment that's here and now. I think there are a lot of ways to go about doing this. I do think deep breathing or meditation helps. I think journaling helps. All these things might lead to the same result of being more present, and that's great. But that's the first thing that I would say stands out to me. It's hard to put myself in the shoes I was in years and years ago now, but I can definitely say 100% that is something that has stayed with me through this whole process. Over these years, I find myself still to this day not being so distracted when I'm having a conversation with someone. I'm not worried about someone else's profile or accounts or anything. I attribute a lot of that to not being on social media anymore. Number two, I don't check my phone half as often as I used to. That's a huge plus for me because I'm not attached to it. I'm not sitting there, where's my phone? Oh, it's got to be right here in my pocket. It's got to be in my hand, that kind of a thing. There's days where, if I'm working on a project at home or if I'm hanging out with friends and family and I put my phone down somewhere, I don't think about it. I don't go, oh no, where is it? Now, I'll do that when I'm leaving because I'm like, oh shoot, I don't have my phone on me. But during the time that I'm engaged in some other activity, I'm not sitting there worried about it, If someone said, could you live without your phone for a day? I'd be like, that's honestly pretty easy, There'd be some inconveniences for sure. Most of it would just be communication with my wife, but it wouldn't be the end of the world for me. It wouldn't be like I'm having trouble doing anything. And I think that's a huge plus that a lot of people might need if they find themselves in those shoes, if they find themselves constantly being on their phone, constantly needing it in their hand, in their pocket, that kind of a thing. Maybe do a challenge, take a day off, don't use your phone for a day. You can tell people ahead of time, hey, I'm not going to have signal. You can just say that. You don't even have to say I'm doing a challenge. I won't have signal, I'm busy elsewhere. And if you find yourself having a really tough time getting through the day, maybe there's something there that you need to work on. So that's number two. Number three, I'm more sure of myself as a person and also of my self-image, my self-esteem. To kind of break this down, I think I've always had pretty good self-esteem. I've always felt pretty good about myself intrinsically. I don't think I've ever looked at myself and been like, oh, I'm a piece of shit, Is that good or bad? I think it's more good than anything. That being said, I've noticed I don't worry about how I look half as much. If my hair's not perfect, I don't care. If my skin's not perfect, I don't care. If I'm a little more out of shape than some fitness person, it doesn't bother me, I acknowledge that there's things we can all improve on and work on and so forth, but I've used my time the way I've used it, and that's my choice. For the most part, these things, other people's pictures, videos, where they are in the world, that doesn't bother me. Good for them. If they're doing it correctly, I hope they're not just straight up lying. Who knows? I do think some people struggle with that, where they see everyone off going on these great trips, these great vacations, hitting the gym, looking like Greek gods, that kind of thing, and they feel bad about themselves. Now, I get it. If you look like absolute crap and you're not doing anything to improve physically, mentally, or whatnot, maybe you should feel a little bad about yourself because you're not doing anything to improve. But if you are doing something to improve, don't get caught up in other people's business. That's their outside. That's not your internal thoughts. Keep that in mind. That's something I don't really have to keep in mind. It just doesn't bother me anymore, which is a huge plus. So that's number 3. So number 4 of the pros, the pluses, whatever you want to call them, which kind of goes into number 2. I'm not mindlessly scrolling on my phone. I don't sit there and just scroll through things because I don't have them. And I'm like, what's the word? Doom scrolling, where it's just mindlessly scrolling, not even really clicking on a video, not even watching a short or anything like that, just being on social media but not doing anything with it. I don't do that, which is kind of nice, but I also want to say because I don't do it, I don't think of it as a problem per se because I'm removed from it. But again, I'm sure that's something that a lot of people struggle with, and for those people, maybe it's time to take a break, a detox, if you will. I don't know. For me, I see some people, and some people I know, some friends I have, where they're on their phone quite a bit when we could be hanging out, we could be chatting, we could be playing a video game, board game, cards, whatever. And these people are on their phones a lot. I don't feel the need or urge to do that very much. And I think that's a huge plus. So again, if this is you, maybe keep this in mind. So now we finished with the pros, the pluses. Now let's go over to the cons. What's the biggest con or negative I had in this process? So the biggest negative I've had is I've had a slight loss of communication with some of my older friends, where we've had kind of started our social medias around the same time, and we used to communicate through them fairly often. I've, for the most part, gotten out of touch with a lot of those people. And it does suck because you lose the closeness, you lose a lot of what you bond over because you just don't communicate very often. You're not talking too much. Now, part of me doesn't want to put this in a con per se because it's my fault that this happens. I could choose to text those people more, and I could choose to say, hey, do you want to hang out and, go out to eat, go bowling, play games, whatever. That's on me. For better or worse, I've decided not to do that. Some of it comes to forgetting and just life is busy. But it is a con. I am losing out on some friendships and some communication with old friends. So I would say that if you are someone who's looking to doing this, I would set up, not so much a plan per se, but just let people know like, hey, I'm not going to be on social media. If you do want to hang out and chat, if you want to text me, call me, whatnot, hopefully you have their number. But if you don't, here's my number, and let me know. I do want to keep our relationship. I would keep that in mind if this is something you're thinking about. So that's the breakdown, pros and cons. The last bit here, and this is just for full disclosure, I obviously still have and use YouTube. It's basically primarily driven for this channel, Clear Discussion. Basically gain inspiration from some videos, look into some of the creators that I follow, what they're breaking down, what they're going through, get a lot of ideas from them, and I kind of use that as a way to brainstorm for the most part. Now, there's times where I'm probably on YouTube too much, going through a few videos, and where I could be doing more research based, I'm probably leaning more towards the entertainment side of things. I do want to say that because I'm not broken off from everything. And the last bit is I use Snapchat solely to chat with my wife, and she'll send me pictures of her and our son throughout the day, which is a huge plus. I'm not sitting there scrolling on it, watching randos videos or talking to people I don't know. I literally don't talk to anyone else except my wife on it, and half the time she's sending me pictures of our son, which is nice to see throughout the day. I want to give that disclosure there. And I also want you guys to know, it's okay if you don't do a clean break of everything. Figure out what you use or abuse the most and get rid of that. If you're on TikTok for several hours a day, but you use YouTube, maybe you use Snapchat, maybe you use a little Instagram, those things, then maybe get rid of it or get rid of one of the others. Make it a process where it's of elimination. Make it a process of elimination. If it's something where you're I spend too much time on this, I want to cut the time down or I want to cut it out. You don't have to get rid of everything all at once. You don't have to go, geez, words, man. You don't have to go cold turkey. You can take it step by step and see how that goes. Maybe it works for you, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. That's all I got for you guys. I hope you appreciated the video. I hope to see you guys in the next one. I got more and more coming out here. So subscribe if you haven't already. And let me know what you guys think down below. Hit the like button, and I'll catch you later. Take it easy.